Hello and happy December. It is a new month. It's December. It feels crazy. It feels like 2023 just started, but here we are at the end of it. I am here to do my check-in on my annual goals. This is a look back at how November went. I have my annual goals that I track monthly just to check in on my progress and make sure things are going the way I want them to. Not always the case, but sometimes the case. I am going to do this one, and then my December one is actually just going to be a total look back at all of 2023, the performance from my annual goals, and just my financial life in general from January to December. It feels crazy that 2023 is over, but that's what everybody's going to be saying right now, right? So let's take a look at how November went and have a little bit of coffee together and talk finances. October and November were a little weird. It's this time of year where Shay is unfortunately not here. She is out of town working. She'll be home later tonight, but these videos I think are for her a little bit boring because there's no decision making. It's just talking about what's already happened. And we've been talking about finances a lot lately, not because they're going poorly, but just because I'm feeling kind of frustrated. I'm kind of working through that right now. I'm feeling kind of frustrated because I am making more money than I ever have, but I still don't feel like I'm getting really ahead. I know I am, and I think that's where these numbers can help, but I just don't feel like I'm, like right now I need new pants. I just my pants are all broken and have holes in certain places, and I have a lot of work stuff coming up, and I just want new pants. And I can't just go drop a couple $100s on several pairs of new pants. And that feels annoying. It's also the holidays, and I want to really just be able to to spoil the people in my life who I love and care about a lot. And I have to be very deliberate about where that money is coming from. And that's very frustrating to me. I think it's pretty reasonable to not spend $2,000 without thinking about it. I think that's fine. Can you not? Come here. Harvey's here. Whenever Shay's out of town, Harvey's a little Velcro boy who just wants to sit with me all the time. But yeah, today, for example, is one of my best friend's birthdays, and he's on a trip, and I would love to just send a bunch of, get to buy something very fun and exciting for him on this trip, and I don't really have the funds to do that. At least not be able to do it and, do it responsibly, you know? I don't know. It feels silly. I'm just feeling kind of I always thought when I made this much money that I'd have what felt like unlimited funds, and that's just certainly not the case. I don't know. It's just been on my mind a lot lately. And, that's the kind of stuff we talk a lot about. If you haven't, the book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, talks a lot about, talking about and having plans for what you want your rich life to look like. And I always wanted, my rich life is all about, I want to tip 100% of my meal. I want to buy my friends elaborate gifts. I want to, it's all about, giving to other people. And I just don't feel like we're at that point where, we're still kind of in the oxygen mask on yourself first before you can start just handing out money to others. And I am annoyed with that. I don't know. It's just the kind of stuff that's been on my mind lately. It's not really real formed thoughts yet, but we're making good progress, and I'm trying not to let my frustration get in the way of that good progress. So anyway, let's see what we got. Wedding savings, $3,630.69. Over the next month, over the month of December, this is going to skyrocket too. So I feel really good about that number, especially knowing that we have not yet hit the point where we're going to jack up that savings. This is money that we are spending as we go, so I'm tracking how much total we've saved over time, but some of this has already been spent. Shay's already working on her wedding dress. We've already put a deposit down for the food, all that stuff. So this isn't just sitting in account waiting to be spent on the day of our wedding, but I'd like to know how much we've saved total. And in the month of December, Shay is working on a show, and all of the money for that show is going into the wedding savings fund for the most part. A few dollars might have to go to the budget. I'm also, at the end of this week, getting my bonus, which would be about $1,500 or more. I'm saying $1,500 because of taxes, but I think it'll actually be a little more than that. But that'll be in there, and that'll put us, actually, my bonus alone will put us halfway to the goal, the minimum savings goal. So I'm feeling really good about that. We are doing a great job, honestly. So that's very cool. We're going to cash flow this freaking wedding. $2,500 eating out was obliterated. last month. We kind of knew that that was going to happen. But in the year 2022, I spent over $6,000 eating out, and I feel great about cutting it in half. I really do. Even if it's a little bit more. I'll look up the exact number that we spent in 2022 versus 2023 for the total wrap-up video, but I feel pretty good about this. 28, 34, 25. Is it still a decent amount for eating out? Yeah, but I like food. And I think also with me working from home all year, starting in 2024, I'll be like full time the whole entire year, work from home. I think hopefully this will be a lot less. It's also, I mean, it helped for the majority of, I'd say more than half this year I was work from home, and that has definitely helped with the cutting in half of the whole thing, because it was always like on my way to and from work, picking up little stuff here and there, so it feels good. All right, fully funded emergency fund, FFEF, fully funded emergency fund. This is not a goal I'm actively 100% working towards right this moment, but it is a separate account from mine. It's like it's in my high yield savings account, and so I'm just letting that interest roll, and one day we will do the math, figure out how much we need for a 6-month emergency fund, and start actively working on this. That day is not today. So that is $2,624.51. That's rent, you know? If something happens catastrophically and I like lost my job, there's rent for a month, you know? I am a decent barista, and I can make some money if I need to. Not ideal, but it can be done. We'll get there. It's on the list. It's not top of the list. Home ownership is not something that we're actively saving for right now. I've kind of moved this, as you can see. I was working on this at the beginning of the year, not aggressively, but then that kind of moved. We got engaged in May, and then we were like, oh God, we have to pay for a wedding. Weddings are not cheap. Our venue is free. We're getting married at Shay's parents' house, but it's not cheap to get married. Or you know what? It is cheap to get married. That's not fair for me to say. It is cheap to get married. I could get married for under $500 easy right now. I can get married for, I think, $30 from what I remember. It's not cheap to throw a big party about it. That's what's expensive. The marriage license is a very small amount of the total amount that we'll be spending. The rest of it is on fun party time. So it is cheap to get married. It's not cheap to have a party about getting married. And we decided to have a party about getting married. It's a relatively cheap party in the grand scheme of the kind of money that people can spend on weddings, but it's not outrageous. It's not $30 at the courthouse, which, you know, when we first started planning all this, we both looked at each other like, maybe, and then we were like, no. It's like the one time both our families are going to be together for any length of time, so we kind of have to do it, right? And we can afford to, kind of. We can afford to. We're doing fine. I don't know. I'm just rambling now. Fat FIRE. I like to explain this every time just because if somebody stumbles upon this and they don't know what FIRE is, I don't want to assume. But FIRE is Financial Independence Retire Early. It's a movement about just retiring early and having control and independence with your finances. Fat FIRE is having an insane amount of money to retire that you definitely won't need at all, and you can live a lavish lifestyle. I don't think I'm going to get there, but it's fun to dream about. Just like I was talking about at the beginning of the video, right? Like, I just love to dream about being able to just not even think and just, like, throw money around to my friends and family so we can all just hang out and have a good time. So that's what we're working on, kind of, technically. Not really. I mean, if we get to financial independence at all, I'll be stoked. Like, at all in this lifetime. I will be so happy. But I follow, I can look at it right now. It's, I'm going to move myself. This is a spreadsheet from Budgets Are Sexy, and you just put in your funds here, and then it spits out a number, and it says, this is what I would get if I retired now for the year, and this is what I would get for the month, and I'm just tracking, let's see if I can put myself in the right spot. Oh, that's not terrible. I'm just tracking what that number is monthly, what the monthly number is over time. It's just a fun way for me to keep track of where I'm at with that goal. And it went up quite a lot. The thing I this is fun for me to look at and think about and daydream about. But the thing that drives me insane about this is that I have very little control over how up and down that number is. So as you can see, it was up in August and then has been down from then in September and October, and then it's got this skyrocket, and that's just the stock market. This is based heavily in my company 401k, which is in the stock market. So I didn't do anything cool, or I didn't make any amazing progress. I didn't do anything out of the ordinary to make this number go up. And I don't think it's a mark of value of me as a person that this number went up. I've just had money in the stock market, and the stock market did well in the month of November, and so it went up. And that's it. So it's fun for me to look at. It's fun to think about. One day I'll be a lot closer to this goal, and this will be a lot more important to me. But in the grand scheme of things that I am working on, this is not one of them. But it went up quite a lot. So that's fun. Stock market is going to stock market. Next month it could go down $40. It doesn't, I don't have any control over it. And that's frustrating because I can't work really hard and make this better. I guess I could dump a lot of money in the stock market, but I don't have a lot of money. I don't know, man. My net worth. This is what I'm very, very excited about. And I understand that for people who have a net worth that is positive, this is going to seem insane to celebrate. And I'm okay with that because, as you can see, my net worth is not positive. So the closer to positive it gets, the happier I am, because this is something I do have a little bit of control over. The market helps, but paying off my student loans helps a lot more. And my net worth is now in the negative 5 figures. I don't have a negative 6-figure net worth anymore, people, which is so exciting because for the last several years I have had a negative 6-figure net worth, and that's difficult to just have on your shoulders all the time. It's like you just walk through life and you just know that about yourself, and you know that about your life and your finances, and it's like it makes just walking around hurt a little. It's difficult. It's hard to navigate. And for a long time I didn't have the money or the wherewithal or the ability to change that or do anything about it. And now, it sounds silly because I was whining in the beginning of this video about not feeling like I had enough, but the ability to do this and make progress in it means that I do have enough finally. So I don't know. I think I just need to be, do I color a thermometer or something to show the progress? I just don't know how to make myself feel like this is as valuable to my friends and family, my financial longevity, my ability to take care of myself, to make sure that I will be set up in retirement and won't need to lean on them for support, to make sure that everything's going to be okay for myself first, is just as much a gift for my friend, my family and the people who care about me, than buying them something, I don't know. I feel like it probably doesn't help that I talk to Shay about this stuff a lot, and I talk to you guys about this stuff a lot, and I don't really talk to anybody else about it because it feels kind of weird, right? Which is funny because a bunch of people that I have never met in person on the internet have seen into the deep depths of my finances and the money I spend every week. But I don't talk to my sister about this stuff. She knows it's something I'm working on, but the ongoing progress of it all, she doesn't really. I've never talked to my family about where it was when I started. I've never talked to them about that stuff at all. So I don't know. Maybe I should start. Maybe when it's a little down more. Because it still feels a little spooky right now. So yeah, that made me happy. 5 figures. One day it'll be 6 figures positive. And more. 7 one day, even. For today, I will be happy to be a little bit closer to worthless. I would love to be worthless. Worth $0. Negative none dollars. $0. We're going to throw a party that day. Annual income. This is a running total, not a total. I did not make $80,000 in the month of October. If I had, this number for my student loans would be a lot lower. I've been talking about it. In September is when I surpassed how much money I made last year in the entirety of the year. So it's getting very surreal now, and the numbers I was watching Midlife Money Moves, who I've been in a rabbit hole of your videos lately, man. But he said something about it feeling just the numbers on a screen just don't feel real. And that's where I'm getting with these numbers here is the numbers on a screen I'm getting really out of touch with them feeling like real, actual numbers. So I'm trying to rein it back in because when they feel like real numbers, it means something to me and I feel inspired by them. I think what's happening now is as the progress happens and the numbers are good again, they are feeling less tangible and less real. So I got to figure something out with that. But for now, $88,548.08. My annual income, like on paper for my job, that I signed a paper, is now $104,000 a year. I haven't even made a paycheck with that on it yet, but I don't think I'm quite going to hit 100 of like actual income because I started earning that in March. So the first 2 months I was not earning that, but I'm going to be pretty close, which is cool. Well, I get my bonus. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. $100,000 in a year, which is crazy. And then, again, numbers on a screen not feeling real at all. When I started working for this company, I made $10 an hour. And that was pretty good for the area. So, had a bit of a move up in the world on that one. I made $10 an hour and I worked part-time. Doesn't make any sense to my brain. Can't comprehend it. But happy. That's good stuff. And then total student loan number as of the tail end of November. I checked this right after the payment cleared last. $148,822. It looks like about $1,000 a month down. Is that accurate? That seems about accurate. A little more, a little less. Depends on the month. Depends when I put the money in. Depends on interest. But it's progress. Progress is progress, and I will take it. $1,000 less than the month before is incredible. I'm happy. I can't believe that I'm finally, it feels so surreal. For so many years, I was like, one day I'll make enough money to pay on my student loans, and they will go down and not up with interest. Like, that was the dream. Just to be able to have them not continue to grow was all I wanted. And now they're going down $1,000 a month. And in December, it is 5 paychecks for me because I get paid every week. So I get 5 paychecks in the month of December. So it's going to go down even more next month. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad. I'm happy. November was a weird one just because Shay started working a lot, but she was in rehearsal a lot and they don't start getting paid really until the shows are kicking in. So December is about to take off in a crazy way, I think, for us. But November was a lot of work to get to December. I think if you could just replace the why behind that, and that's the same for everyone, I think. This time of year is expensive. But I am excited to see what December looks like. I'm excited to see, I think, looking at the progress from January to December, like in one block. Right now, you can see the little steps that it took to get there, but I think like doing this to this, I think that'll be good. I think that'll be fun. Thanks very much for watching. If you did, thanks for letting me ramble. Thanks for being here and sticking with me. And these videos are super great accountability for me. They help me, really keep on top of the things that I want to be working on when my silly little human brain wants to derail, So thanks very much. I appreciate you all greatly. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you on Friday.